Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today in this video, we are going to do PostgreSQL exercises. So if you have not subscribed to the channel, please go ahead and subscribe to the channel because I'll be coming up with the multiple case studies and also will be building a lot many Python project. So I have already done plenty of case studies and from today onwards, the quality would be better. All right, so here I have this pgexercises.com. You can go ahead, just open this one and it is freely available. So in this one, we are going to use this. This is based on PostgreSQL and it has multiple exercises. So today we'll be solving the basic to intermediate one. And if you click on this getting started, here it is about the database. So the data set for these exercises is for a newly created country club with a set of members, facilities such as tennis court, and booking history for these facilities. So we have three tables: members, facilities, and the booking. So here we have the members. Members have these details: MEM ID, surname, first name, address, zip code, telephone, recommended by, and then we have join date and some constraints. Afterwards, we have this create table cd.facilities and then we have the bookings. In the cd.facilities, we have FAC ID, name, member cost, guest cost, monthly maintenance fee. We have bookings where we have all the three tables because it is a booking details. So we have book ID, FAC ID, MEM ID, from then start time slot. So this book ID is for the bookings, FAC ID for the facility ID, MEM ID is for the members ID. So these are the details. We can use this pgexercises.com. It has an inbuilt, SQL, so we can use this. Otherwise, you can also go ahead and set up this on your system. So you can download the SQL, run this query, and it would be done on the Postgres. But for this video and the next few, maybe we'll be using this one. So let's go ahead, and here we have the exercises, and I'll start with the basics one. These are the questions we are going to answer in this one. And as we move ahead, we have the joins, modify data, aggregate, date, string, and recursive. So we'll be doing all these. Today, I'm going to start with this basic one. So simple SQL queries. So here it is. And this is the schema, cd.members. It has MEM ID as a PK, primary key. Then CD bookings also have this MEM ID here. You can see this. Then CD facilities has FAC ID. And here's in the booking table, we also have CD facility, FAC ID. And the CD bookings have other two details also. And then CD facilities has these details and MEM has these details. So we would be referring to this again and again whenever we have to look into the tables and the database. So the first question is, how can you retrieve all the information from cd.facilities table? So here we can go ahead and say select everything from cd.facilities. We can run this. So this is the answer, correct? And this is the answer. Here it has been explained everything. If you want to learn something, you can just go ahead, read it, and it would be, giving you all the explanation. Also, I believe here in the help, if you click on this help, we have the keyboard shortcuts, Alt H for the help, Alt R for to run query, X to selected text as query, Alt S to run query by cursor. All right, so Alt R would be the to run query. So just pressing the Alt R would give us the result. So this is the answer and this is the expected result. So we can see it here and then run it. Okay, so now let's move to the, okay, so let me just explain this one to you. Select asterisk from cd.facility. So this is a table name and this cd is the schema name. Okay, so if you are going to use this on your system, it would create a CD schema inside this database. And then this is the table name, cd.facilities, schema name dot table name. So And then select asterisk means select everything from this table. Okay, so we can select everything from this table. Next, you want to print out a list of all the facilities and their total cost to members. So in the facilities, we have name and the member cost. How would you retrieve a list of only facilities, names, and cost? So here we only want two things, name and the cost. So last time we selected everything by saying select asterisk from cd dot facilities like this. So this spelling might be, so this is the right, and this is for everything. But now the question is to fetch only names and costs. So I can say name here, and then I can also give cost, and this would give us the name and cost. The query is correct. We have the name and we have the cost. All right, so this is working fine. Let's move to the next one. How can you produce a list of facilities that charge a fee to member? Okay, so that means when we run this query, select everything from cd dot facilities, spelling TIES. So here in this member cost, we have the zero also, 35 or zero. So a snooker table doesn't have any cost. Pool table also is free. So what is the query? Query is saying that can you produce a list of facilities that charge a fee to members? That means we do not want anything that is zero. So what I can say, where member cost is more than zero. And now if I run this, it should work. Okay, so this is the correct answer. Exactly what this is. In the same way, we can also do something like is not equal to zero. And if I run this also, this would give the correct answer. So whether not equal to zero or greater than zero, both would work. All right. And again, you can read the answer here also. It has been very cleanly explained. Everything is explained here. So this is a wonderful way to practice. So now let's move to the next one. How can you produce a list of facilities that charge a fee to members? Fine, we have done this. And that fee is less than the 1/50th of the monthly maintenance cost. And then we have to return these details. Fine. So we say select asterisk, and then we say from cd dot facilities. Then we have a condition. The first condition is where member cost is more than zero, right? And member cost, it says 1/50th of the monthly maintenance cost, 1/50th part. So, and less than, fee is less than 1/50th of the monthly maintenance cost. So less than monthly maintenance by 50. So this should give the answer. But here we are not looking for all the tables, all the data. We want particularly these things, FACID, facility ID. Then we want name, member cost, and we also want monthly maintenance. If you are following along, make sure the spelling is right, otherwise it will give you an error. If I run this, now it is giving us the incorrect monthly maintenance. So the spelling problem here, this is the monthly maintenance. So okay, now if I run this, monthly MONTHLY MAINTENANCE. So where is the problem? Monthly, okay, so we have to change it here also. Now if I run this, the answer is correct. So we have two facilities where the member cost is like it is more than zero, and the monthly maintenance is the less than the 50th part of the this value, 3000. So we have the two room here. So you can check it out here if this is correct or not. So this is the answer correct. Again, the explanation are here. So the where clause allows us to filter for the rows we are interested in. In this case, those with a member cost of more than zero and less than 1/50th of the monthly maintenance cost. As you can see, the massage rooms are very expensive to run thanks to the staffing cost. So it has been explained very clearly. When we want to test for the two more condition, we use and combine them, right? Okay, so now let's move to the next one. How can you produce a list of all facilities with the word tennis in their name? So we want to find a phrase in the name. So selecting everything from CD facilities where name, and we have something called like, and then inside the quotes we can say in the percentage sign the phrase tennis like this. And if I run this, so it says the tennis does not exist. That's because we need to have single quote, I believe, not the double quote. Fine, right? So selecting everything from series.facilities and where name like this. Okay, this is like is searching for this phrase. So wherever the tennis is coming, so in the name, then it will print out. So we have three details here, three rows: tennis code 1, tennis code 2, and tennis table tennis. This is the answer here. So this is correct. I can hide it. So I hope this explanation is clear. If there is something missing, you can read it, or maybe you can ask in the comment box. All right, so let's move to the next one. How can you retrieve the details of facilities with ID 1 and ID 5? Try to do it without using OR operator. So, okay, selecting everything from CD dot facilities where FACID in 1 and 5 like this. And if we run this, we have the data. So what I'm doing here is selecting again everything asterisk from the table name where the condition is FACID in 1 and 5. So whenever we have more than one values where we have to find something in those things, we use something like in. So face ID in these two things, and that's why we have this. Okay, I'll explain one thing here. So if you look at this one whole query, there are three things mainly, and these three things are almost always going to be in our queries. Select is to fetch the data. Okay, so this is to fetch data. Now we have this from, that is from where, fetch data from where, and then we have this condition here. Where is a condition? So if condition, if there's any condition. So these are three things mainly we have to understand. So fetch the data. What kind of data do you want? Do you want all or columns? So if you have all, you can give the asterisk sign. If you have columns, you can give the column name. From cd.facilities, from where? So this is the table name. From where do you want to fetch the data? And the where condition, if there is any condition. Now condition could have multiple, where could have multiple. Also in the select, we would see gradually there are multiple things we can do. So this is the basic thing we have to understand. All right, let's move to the next one. Classify. How can you produce a list of facilities with each labeled as cheap or expensive depending on if the monthly maintenance cost is more than 100, Return the name and monthly maintenance of the facilities in question. Great. So what it is asking us is we have to create something like this, where this is the name of the facility, and on the basis of the this condition, if the member cost is more than 100, we have to give them this kind of phrase. So for this, there's something called case statement. So we'll say select, and we are going to have a case statement here. So from cd dot facilities, this is the whole query, right? Here we want to create the case statement. So whenever I write a query, I like to write like this. First, I just write a simple query, get it up, give it up, this table name, and then I can do whatever I want to do here. So it says case. So I'll give a name case here when. So case, we are giving a case, and then we are saying when member cost is more than 100, then we have to call this expensive, right? Then we can give another condition where member cost is less than 100, then we can call it cheap. In the end, we have to give a else, and for else I can say null, and then in the end I am going to say end, and we have to then give the name of this whole case statement. So we can call it cost, as this is the cost here, and as cost. So let's see if this is correct or not. Okay, this is not correct. Why? Because okay, when member cost is less than. Now I'm going to run this again. So it is giving me only one day, so I can here give the name comma, and now let's run. Okay, so the answer is here, but there's something missing because we only have this cheap, we do not get anything else. So something is not correct. So what is the question? It says monthly maintenance is cost is more than 100. Okay, not the member cost, monthly maintenance cost. So monthly maintenance. And now if I run this, so we have a correct answer. So what exactly we are going to do? We have done here. We have this query, select. First we select name, and then we are creating kind of a case. A case is where like we're creating a kind of scenario. We are saying when monthly maintenance is more than 100, please give it a phrase or title of expensive. When monthly maintenance is less than 100, then cheap, else null, and as a cost. Okay. Now this else null is actually not very useful here. It is not actually doing anything. We don't really need it. Why are we giving it? So what I can do is I can remove this part here, and I say when monthly maintenance is more than 100, then expensive, else cheap, and then I can end the query as cost. Now if I run this also, it is correct, right? So monthly maintenance more than 100 is expensive, else everything is cheap. So expensive, cheap, same as the expected result. Okay, great. So this was good. Now let's move to the next query. So in this query, we have how can you produce a list of members who joined after the start of September 2012? Return these details. So this is the expected result, and it is from the members table. Okay, so we have select everything from cd dot members, and if I run this query, we have this join date. So from this join date, we have to find the month and that month should be this September 12, I believe. Okay, so what we can do is we give a condition here and we say date part. There's something called date part, and for this date part we can say here month, and then we can give the column name, that is our join date. This is a timestamp. This join date is a timestamp, date and time both. So this would give us the month, and then we can say condition equal to September, that is 9, because this is going to give us the number. The same way I can create the date part, and let's say year here, and we are going to say join date, and this year is going to be 2012 because this is going to be September 2012. So let's run this query and see if it is correct or not. Okay, so we do have some problems. Okay, we have to fetch these details only, not all the details. So we say MEMID, then we are going to have surname, first name, and join date. Now if I run this, the query is correct. So here we have the ID, surname, first name, and the join date. So what is the whole query we have written? Select these details from this CD members where there are two conditions. First is date part, which will give us the month or year, whatever we want. So here we are asking for the month from this timestamp that is in the join date column, and we are saying if that is equal to 9, that means September. And then date part, we are finding the year from the join date, and that is if that is equal to 2012. So this is the answer after we run this query. Okay, so let's move to the next one. Again, you can go ahead and read about these things. Timestamp. This is our first look at the SQL timestamp. They are formatted in descending orders of magnitude, and we can compare them just like we might our Unix timestamp. Although getting the differences between dates is a little more involved and powerful. In this case, we have just specified the date portion of the timestamp. Fine. Let's move to the next one. How can you produce an ordered list of the first 10 surnames in the members table? The list must not contain duplicates. So selecting everything in from cd.members, we only look for the surname, but it says the list must not contain duplicate. So we want unique value. For this, we say distinct here. We have this keyword. If I put it here, that means it will only give us the unique values, no duplicates. And then it is asking us to give it in the ordered list. So we say order by surname. So, and then it says the list of 10 surnames. So probably we need limit here. I can say limit 10, and let's see if we find something. Okay, so this is the answer. Selecting only the unique surname. If I remove this one, this would not give us the correct answer. So if I remove it and run this, we have the multiple answers. So here Baker and Baker are twice, Booth is and Butter, so Farrell twice. So we only wanted to have the unique name, no duplicacy. So we have the correct answer now. Limit is to limit the answer. Whatever the answer we are getting, output we are getting, we do not want to have the 1000 rows. We just want to see the sample of like 20, 100. We can give a limit. Then order by surname. So order by is, there are two ways to order. We can either have alphabetically ascending order, or we can have the on a different way, non-alphabetically. So in the descending order. By default, it is going to be the ascending order here. That is called ASC like something. So we don't have to write something like this. If I write it, it'll work. And another one is SC. We'll, as we move, we will have to, use that also. So this would give us in a opposite direction. So that was great. Let's move to the next one. Combining result from multiple queries. For you, for some reason, want a combined list of all surname and facilities name. Yes, this is a contrive example. Produce the list. So there's only one list, and that list has all the names from the facilities and all the names from the members. So we want a combined list. And this is not a join, right? We only have one column here. So selecting everything from cd dot facilities, and then we have to also say select everything from cd dot members. Now we have to combine this. So there's something called union. If I run this, this would probably not work because the query is incorrect. Query is closing here. I have to remove this. Now if I run this, let's see if it is working or not. Even it is not working. Why? Because it says the union query must have the same number of columns. So there are two ways, two union. Like one is union, another is the union all. So in the union, we must have the same number of columns, which is not the case with the members and facilities. Facilities has fewer columns and the members have multiple columns. That's why this is not working. If I say union all, this would work because then it should give us some data. So let's say, will it work? Okay, it is not doing anything. Union query must have the same number of columns. So we want the surname from the members, and from here we want name. Now if I run this, okay, this is not correct. So if I remove this all and then if I run it, we will have a correct answer. So okay, all right, so now we have this query. So earlier I was running like asterisk, and this asterisk wasn't working because this gives a different column numbers. Here facilities have different number of columns and these are members have different number of columns. Now when we say name, so this is giving us one column and then this is also giving us one column. Only then union is working. While with the union all, the answer will not work because the union all also count the duplicate values, and that is why. So union is fine here. We do not want the duplicate values. So the answer is correct. You can read it about this here. Like union removes duplicate rows while union all does not. Okay. So great. Let's move to the next one. Aggregate. You'd like to get the sign up date of your last member. How can you retrieve this information? So I believe we are going with the sign up details. So I think this is in the booking we have a start time, in the members we have the join date. So this is probably is the members table. Select everything from cd dot members. So this would give us all the data. Now we are looking for the max of the join date, because this is asking for the sign up date of your last member. So the last member probably will be the latest one. So if I run this, right, we have the max here. Now this is the correct answer, but if you see here we have this latest as a column name. I can say as latest, and this would give us the correct answer, and the column name now is latest. So this join date has a multiple, like people when join they have a timestamp created, and it is asking for the last one. So probably the last one is going to be the most recent one. That's why we are finding it the max details. So this is the correct one. Again, the explanation is given here. Let's move to the next one. You'd like to get the first and the last name of the last members who signed up, not just the date. How can you do this? All right. So in the last query, we got the max of join date like this from cd dot members. This gave us the only date, not the complete answer. Now what is the expected result is first name, surname, and then the join date. Great. So for this, we'll use the subquery. So here, I'm going to cut it and let's write a new query and this select everything from cd dot members. Now we have a condition where join date is equal to a join date. Now this is going to be a join date. Okay. So if I give this join date here, probably this will give us the answer. So we have to find first the first name and then the surname. So let's see if I say something like this 2012 09 26 18 08 45, and if I run this, we get this Darren Smith, and let's say join date. So this is giving us the correct answer, but this is not how we do it, right? Because we do not know this answer. Right now it is giving here, that's why we are writing it here, but that's not how we do it. So here we have to write the query to get this answer. And what was that query? We have already done this in the previous one. So if I remove this in the bracket, I write that query. So this is the query we have, which we wrote in the previous exercise. So this would give us the max join date as a latest. I can remove this from cd dot members. So when this query runs, it will give us this data, and then this condition will take place and these details will be printed. Run this. We got the correct answer, Baron Smith and the join date. So I hope it made some sense. I'll try to explain this again. So here we have this subquery and we are fetching, this is the main query. First this subquery will run. In the subquery, we are finding the max of the join date. From the join date column, give us the max date. This would give us this date, whichever is max. And this, instead of this whole clause here, this would come. And then this query would run. Okay, you can read about it. Everything has been explained very clearly here. See, all the details have been very properly given. So I think this is going to be a wonderful practice for all of us. So let's move to the next one. Okay, so we have done the basics. Okay, all correct. Now we can move to the joins and subqueries. And okay, let's do it. So how can you produce a list of the start time for bookings by members named David Farrell? So there's a member named David Farrell, and we want to find out the bookings from the bookings have this start time details. So how would we join it? So we must find the primary keys and foreign keys and everything. So here we have in CD members, we have MEM-ID. This is the main ID is the key here. In the CD.bookings, we have the MEM-ID, right? So we can use this as a join and join this on this ID. So how do we do it? Here we say select everything from. Now I'm going to use the first table, and that is the members table. So we say cd dot members. We say join, or we can say inner join cd dot bookings. So now this is the join condition is given. We are joining these two tables. Joining on what? So as we saw it here on the MEM ID. MEM ID is available here also and here also. So we say from the, how would we give it? So we have to write something like this, cd dot members, members, and from there we get MEM ID. Same way we'll say equal to cd dot bookings dot MEM ID, right? So from this table get this MEM ID, from this table get this MEM ID, and that's how we are joining it. Now we have a condition here, David Farrell. So we say where from cd dot members we have a name called David Farrell, okay? But the name is different because here we have surname and the first name. So we have to write like first name dot first name, and we'll say equal to David in the code. And again we are going to write this whole query, cd dot members dot surname, and we say Farrell like this. Okay, this would give us the result. Here we do not want everything. We only want one data, and that is start time, that is available in the bookings. So we say cd dot bookings dot start time. Now I don't know if it is going to work or not, but let's see. Okay, it is correct. But this is looking a little complicated, right? If you see the queries, and you must have done this, so you might be thinking like, what is this cd booking here, cd booking here, every time we are calling it right now. So we are going to just format it a little bit. So what we are going to do is we are going to give us the alias name. So let's create some space here. From cd members, cd dot members, this is the one table. Let's call this M. Join cd dot bookings, let's call this B. So now whenever we have to refer to this table, we'll use the M, and whenever we have to refer to this table, we can call this B. We do not have to write the as here. So great. Now I can remove this cd dot members, and I'll say M. I'll remove this cd dot bookings. I'm going to say B. Great. Same way here also, cd dot members, M, and then cd dot members here also M, and here also cd dot bookings. So we have the B. So all the places are now cleaned up, and it is looking perfect. If I run this, correct answer, B dot start time. And then from joining this table on these two columns where these are two conditions. There could be multiple ways to do it, but this is how we do it. Now, what happens when you are using these kind of tables, we do not have to really give the alias all the time if the column is only in the one table. But in my case, I normally do it like this. So here is the answer. You can see. So from cd dot bookings, they are calling it BKS. Inner join, we can call it join or inner join. Then we say cd dot members, we are calling it MEMS, and then on this where first name is David and surname is Farrell. Okay, and the explanation is here. You can read about it. If there's any doubt, it'll clarify everything. Great. So this was our first join condition. Let's move to the next one. How can we produce a list of the start times for bookings for tennis courts? For the date, return a list of start time and facility name pairings ordered by the times. So in this one, we are going to use bookings and facilities. So the booking has this FAC ID, and the facilities also have this FAC ID, facility ID. This is going to be our primary keys. On these two tables are going to get joined on this FAC ID. So let's do it. Select everything for now. From cd dot bookings. Let's call this B. Join cd dot facilities. Let's call this F. On B dot facid equal to F dot facid, facility ID, where now we have multiple conditions. So what are the conditions? For the tennis court, okay, so first is F dot name is equal to tennis court. And then we have another query, another condition for the date this. So B dot start time is equal to date 2012/09/21. But this is the start time is here we have the start time, that is timestamp. So there must be some problem here, but let's see. Let's say we are going to call the B dot start time and we are going to say F dot name. So if I run this, okay, there is some problem. This is not printing anything. Okay, why is that? Because tennis, there's no tennis code. So let's look at this first. There's no thing called as tennis code. Tennis code 1, tennis code 2, tennis code 1, 2. So something is wrong here. So for this, I have to do something like this. We have done this already, like percentage. So this is fine. And now we have to look at the B dot start time because this is a date. So we say date B dot start time. Okay, so we have some answer, but that answer is not correct. Start time, we have this date. And then here we have the tennis code 111222. So we have to put this in the order by, I believe, order by the time. So then we say order by the time. So B dot start time. Now I can just say 1 here and run this. And this would give us the correct answer because the order by is going to work from the first column here. Or I can just give it a name like this, B dot start time. So now this is the correct query. Selecting these two details from cd.bookings as a B, joining cd.facilities as the F on these two keys, columns, where F name like this and date is this, order by B dot start time. This is the correct answer. This is the query here. Please read it. You'll find the answer and all the explanations are giving. So this is great. Now let's move to the next one. How can you output a list of all members who have recommended another member? Ensure that there are no duplicates in the list and the results are ordered by surname. So in the members table, we have the MEM ID integer and then we also have this recommended by integer. So we have to use something called self join. How can you output a list of all members who have recommended another member? Great. So let's write it. Select everything from cd.members. Now this is going to be the inner join, but it is called something like self join. It works same as the joins, inner join or left or right join. But when we are joining a table with itself, we call it self join. So how do we do it? Same thing, cd.members. Let's call this M1 join cd.members. Let's call this M2. we join it on, we say m2 dot, we want this recommended ID here. So we say recommended by, and from the m1, we are going to take the MEM ID. Okay. And here I have to fetch the data. So from m1, I can fetch the surname m1, and then we have the first name also, m1 dot first name. So this is going to give us the result. We want it in the order by. So this is the order by m1 dot surname, and then we can give the m1 dot first name. So let's run this. Okay, the answer is not correct. There's something missing, because it says that all the members who have recommended another member, ensure there are no duplicates. So we are going to have distinct here. Now if I run this, the answer is correct. So what we are doing is, we are fetching these details without duplicates from CD members m1. So we are joining it with itself. First we are calling it m1, then we are calling it m2. For m1, we are taking this recommended by as the main ID, primary key here, and then we are checking on m2 dot recommended by this, and then m1 MEM ID. So these, for this m1 table, this becomes our primary key. Sorry, this becomes our primary key, MEM ID, and for the m2, recommended by becomes our primary key. And then we are running a simple, order by, and then this is how working. Here it is explained everything. This is the answer. So RES, MEM ID, and recommended by. Okay, and there could be different ways also, but I believe this is working fine. So cd.members, MEMS, cd.members, they call it RECS, from RECS, MEM ID, and then this. Okay, so let's move to the next query now. So how can you output a list of all members, including the individuals who recommended them, if any? Ensure the results are ordered by surname and first name. So this is same, but in this one, we also want this REFC name and the RECS name, right? So we want both the names and the recommended by name also. Select everything from cd.members. Let's call this m1. And because okay, I'll do it first. Join here cd.members. Let's call this m2. And then we say on m1 dot, we can say m2 dot MEM ID, and we say m1 dot recommended by. Then do we have any condition, something? Order by is there. So for before order by, we'll fetch the data. So we have to fetch from m1. We want the first name, m1 dot surname, m2 dot first name, m2 dot surname, and ensure the results are ordered by this. So order by surname and this. So I can take this surname, and then I can say m1 dot first name. Now this is not a correct answer. If I run this, there's something missing. m1 does not exist. So recommended by mmenddy. So we have some data, but this is not correct. Okay, if you look at the data, it is giving us the answer which are almost correct, but something is wrong. Now what is wrong? this join is the inner join. So inner join means all the data from the both the tables, which is common. Now here the query is, how can you output a list of all members, including the individuals who are recommended them? So if this Florence Bader was recommended by this person, so we want both the names, if any. Ensure the results are ordered by this. So in this case, this join will not work. We want here something else. So if I say left outer join, because we want data from the left table completely, and then if there is a data in the right table with the reference, print that also. So now it is working. So I hope it is making sense. From cd.members m1, this is the first table. We are joining on the left outer join with the same table on this MEM ID and this. Now, what we want is, we want from one table, we want all the data. All the people should be here. All these first name, surname, complete data is here. And if they have been recommended by somebody, we want their name also. So if I go back, there is no name. Like David Farrell was not recommended by anybody else. And that is why this is not here. Same with the Jamima Farrell guest. This is also here. Fine. Now because we have not looked into the duplicacy, so we are fetching the complete data. So I hope this is making some sense. Again, you can read it here. This is the answer here, left outer join, cd.members, and then join. This join on might be a little confusing sometimes in the self join cases, but as you do it, it will make some sense. Okay, because if I try to explain this, because from one table we want to find out the complete data, that's why we are joining it like this. And here also, if you say, so this RECS, we are taking the MEM ID, and then from this first table we are taking the recommended by. In our case, we have done it the same way, right? So this is only this is here and this is here. From empty MEM ID M2 and then M1 recommended ID, recommended by ID. I hope it is making some sense. Let's move to the next one. All right, so the next query was how can you produce a list of all members who have used a tennis court? Okay, so this means members table and the facilities table. Include in your output the name of the code. Fine. The name of the member. Format it as a single column. That means we have to concatenate first and the surname, first name, surname. Ensure no duplicate data. That means distinct. And order by the member name followed by the facilities name in this order, member and facilities. So if you look at this, members is could be joined with bookings, and bookings could be joined with facilities. We do not have anything joining these two tables directly. So that means all three tables has to be joined. So select everything for now from, and we are going to use the first table as cd.facilities, cd.facilities. Let's call this F. Join this table with cd.bookings. Let's call this B. Join this on f.facid, and B also has the FAC ID. And then once these two tables are joined, we can join this one also. So let's say join cd.members as M on m.mem ID and b.mem ID, because the bookings table have this MEM ID and the members table have this MEM ID. Fine. So this is the complete join. Now we can go to the conditions. So let's say where condition. So condition is no duplicate data and the order by this. So the condition is this tennis court, because we only want to find out the tennis court data. So where f dot name like percentage sign tennis court like this. So this would give us the data of the tennis court. So this is the only condition where we have this. And then we have the order by. But before order by, let's do one thing. We have to get the name of the court and the name of the members formatted as a single column. So here I'm removing the asterisk sign. And we say concat m dot first name, and then we say m dot surname, and this is going to be unique, distinct, because it says no duplicate data. And then the second column is f dot name as facility, and this could be as member. So this is the complete query. Now one final thing we have to do is order by. So I can just say 1 and 2 here, or if you want you can give both the columns here. So if I run this, okay, the answer is not correct. Why is that? So the member is here, facility is there it is matching. So that's a name. I can give a space here, give a quote, space, quote, and comma. This will create the space between the name and the surname. Now if I run this, okay, we do not have any data. We got it. Something was wrong. So here we have this complete query. Let's go through it once and then we'll look at the answer. So we have to select these two details. We are concatenating first name with the surname like this using concat, as we are calling it member, and the f dot name, which is facility name, we are calling it facility, from cd dot facilities f join cd dot bookings b on f dot facid equal to b dot facid. Fine. Then we are joining the third table on the cd dot members m on mam id, because the booking ID and the members both have the MAM ID. Where this is the condition, this is the only condition where, like tennis court here. Make sure you give the tennis code as it is written, otherwise it will give us the error. We have something called R like here. I don't know if it is in the, if I do something like this. So okay, this is not working. There is nothing called as R like, but I think in the MySQL we have the R like, or maybe I'm mistaken. So now this is the only condition where we have, and then order by. So this is the complete answer. Now look at this one. So it says select distinct. They are doing like this: first name and then these pipe and then comma and then space, pipe, and then surname, and then from members. So you can join anywhere. It doesn't really matter whether you take facilities first or the members first. It works. So everything is same. And here we are saying first name. Okay, so facility name in this tennis court 1 and tennis court 2, where I have done this something like this. Okay, again, this is also fine. Everything is explained here. You can read about it. And then member and facilities. So we are giving this alias name here, order wise, a member and facility. Here I have given these name. So if I have to say, I can say member and facilities, and if we run this, it is correct. So normally we should not give the 1 or 2 kind of thing, column number. We should write the column name. So that's fine. This was the complete query. Okay, let's all right, so for this video, I believe this was enough. We have done plenty of things here, And in the next one, we'll move further. There must be some more exercises, and then gradually we'll move to the other things also. So if you are, following along, you can go ahead and try these things and, try by yourself and see how it is going on. It is a very good, website to practice the PostgreSQL. All right. So see you in the next video, and good luck, and